Welcome to Rhema Words of Faith, Daily Bread Devotionals. Today we're focusing on a deeply comforting verse from 1 Peter 5 verse 7, which says, "Cast all your anxiety on Him because He cares for you." In a world full of uncertainty, stress, and constant challenges, it's easy to feel burdened by worries that weigh heavily on our hearts. This verse offers us a beautiful invitation to let go of our anxieties and trust that God is not only aware of our struggles, but cares deeply about every detail of our lives. Imagine for a moment a person carrying a heavy backpack filled with all their fears, doubts, and worries. Now picture God gently taking that backpack from them, relieving them of its crushing weight. That's the essence of what 1 Peter 5 verse 7 promises. A release from the overwhelming pressure of life's burdens through the compassionate care of our Heavenly Father. Today, we will explore what it means to cast our anxieties on God, why it's so important to trust in His care, and how this simple act can transform our daily lives. Whether you're facing personal challenges, work stress, or relationship struggles, know that God is ready to carry those burdens with you. Let's open our hearts to this divine truth and learn to live with the freedom and peace that comes from trusting in a God who truly cares. The command to cast all your anxiety on Him is more than a gentle suggestion. It's an active invitation to release every worry, every fear, every heavy thought into God's capable hands. To cast means to throw or to let go, much like releasing a stone into a river, so that it's carried away by the current. In our busy lives, we tend to hold on to our anxieties, often replaying our fears over and over in our minds. But God tells us that these burdens are not ours to bear alone. When you cast your anxiety on Him, you are acknowledging that you cannot manage everything by yourself and that you need His help. This act of surrender is not a sign of weakness, but of great faith. It means trusting that the One who created you knows exactly what you need and is more than able to provide for you. By letting go, you free up mental, emotional, and spiritual space for God's peace to enter. This isn't about ignoring your problems. It's about inviting God to work in them. As you learn to cast every worry on Him, you begin to experience a profound shift, one where fear gives way to hope, and anxiety is replaced with a deep sense of security in His love. Embrace this truth and allow it to transform the way you approach the trials of life, knowing that each worry surrendered is a step toward a lighter, more joyful existence. Central to 1 Peter 5 verse 7 is the promise that God cares for you. This isn't a vague, impersonal care. It's a deep, personal love that is always present. When you think about the way a loving parent cares for their child, nurturing, protecting, and guiding, they do so unconditionally. That is exactly how our Heavenly Father cares for us. Despite our mistakes, our doubts, and our moments of weakness, God's love remains steadfast. He sees your struggles, hears your prayers, and understands your heart in ways that no one else can. This promise is a reminder that you are never alone. No matter how heavy your burdens may seem, God is with you. His care is like a warm blanket on a cold night, a constant source of comfort and strength. As you face life's challenges, let this assurance anchor your soul. When anxiety tries to take hold, remember that God's love is far greater than any fear you might experience. He invites you to cast your cares upon Him, not because He wants to be burdened, but because He delights in lifting you up. Embrace this foundation of unending love and allow it to guide you through every storm. With each step you take, trust that God's care will sustain you, renew your spirit, and give you the courage to face each new day with hope. Surrendering your anxieties to God is a powerful act of faith. It means acknowledging that you cannot handle everything on your own and that it's okay to let go. When you cast your cares on God, you're not admitting defeat. Rather, you're embracing the strength that comes from a higher power. Think of it like releasing a balloon into the sky. You let go and watch as it rises, freed from the weight that held it down. This act of surrender allows God's peace to fill the space left behind by your worries. It's a conscious decision to shift your focus from your problems to the one who is greater than any challenge you might face. Surrendering doesn't happen overnight. It's a gradual process that requires practice, trust, and patience. Begin by spending time in prayer, expressing your fears and anxieties to God, and then letting them go. Notice how your heart lightens as you do so. You may find that with each act of surrender, your burden becomes more manageable and your spirit is refreshed. Over time, this practice not only alleviates anxiety, but also deepens your relationship with God, as you learn to rely on His strength rather than your own limited abilities. Embrace the freedom that comes with surrender, and allow yourself to experience the profound peace that only God can provide. When you truly cast your anxieties on God, you invite a transformative power into your life. Trusting God means you no longer allow fear to dictate your actions or cloud your decisions. Instead, you step into a life where hope replaces despair, and where a renewed sense of peace permeates your every moment. As you practice releasing your worries, you begin to notice changes in your mindset. Smaller burdens, clearer thoughts, and a deeper assurance that God is working in your life. This transformation is not just emotional, it is spiritual. With each step of trust, you grow stronger in your faith, more resilient against life's challenges, and more connected to the one who loves you unconditionally. It's like a constant renewal, where God's strength refreshes your spirit and recharges your heart. When you let go of anxiety, you make room for joy, purpose, and a more profound sense of fulfillment. Every time you choose to trust rather than worry, you declare that God is more powerful than any circumstance. This decision to live by trust rather than sight opens you up to experiencing miracles, those moments of unexpected blessing and guidance that remind you of God's ever-present care. Embrace this transformation wholeheartedly, and let it empower you to live a life free from the chains of anxiety, fully supported by the promise that God cares for you deeply. When we think about the command in 1 Peter 5 verse 7, "Cast all your anxiety on Him because He cares for you," we are reminded that God is not distant or indifferent to our struggles. Instead, He is deeply involved in every aspect of our lives, watching over us with compassion and care. Imagine the relief of handing over a heavy burden to a trusted friend who has more than enough strength to carry it. That's what it means to cast our anxieties on God. In our daily lives, we often feel overwhelmed by responsibilities, fears about the future, and regrets from the past. These feelings can weigh us down like a heavy backpack that we carry day in and day out. However, when we choose to release these burdens to God, we are embracing the truth that He is always near. His care is not based on our performance or our worthiness. It's an unchanging promise from our Heavenly Father. By surrendering our worries, we open ourselves to experience the peace and comfort that only God can provide. This act of trust transforms our inner world, replacing anxiety with a serene confidence that comes from knowing we are never alone. When you feel your heart racing and your mind clouded with doubt, remember that God's caring hand is ready to lift you up. Take a moment to pray, to pour out your concerns, and to feel the gentle assurance that comes from trusting in Him. Embracing God's personal care is a continual process, a daily decision to let go of fear and lean on the one who loves you unconditionally. As you practice this, you'll find that your burdens become lighter and your heart grows stronger, filled with the peace that only God can provide. A key aspect of casting our anxieties on God is learning to surrender through prayer. Prayer is not merely an act of reciting words, it's a heartfelt conversation with the one who created you. When you pray, you are acknowledging that you cannot manage every worry on your own. Instead, you invite God to work in your life in ways that surpass human understanding. Picture yourself standing at the edge of a storm, with winds of fear and doubt swirling around you. In that moment, prayer becomes your anchor, keeping you steady as you release your anxieties. It's in these moments of surrender that you truly experience the transformative power of God's care. As you pour out your heart in prayer, you begin to notice a shift, a calming of the storm inside you. Your focus moves from the problems that weigh you down to the hope that God is with you, actively involved in your situation. This process of surrender is a sign of strength, not weakness. It shows that you trust God enough to let go of control and rely on His promises. Over time, this habit of turning to prayer becomes a powerful tool against anxiety. You learn that each worry surrendered is a step toward greater peace and spiritual resilience. Embrace the discipline of daily prayer and let it be the channel through which God renews your strength and restores your hope. Remember, God invites you to cast all your cares upon Him, and in return, He provides a peace that is both deep and everlasting. Trusting God with our anxieties isn't just a momentary relief. It leads to a profound transformation of our entire being. When you fully believe that God cares for you, the weight of anxiety gradually lifts, and you begin to see your life through His eyes. This renewed perspective transforms the way you view challenges. Rather than becoming overwhelmed by fear, you begin to recognize obstacles as opportunities for growth and divine intervention. Over time, this shift in perspective can change not only your mindset, but also your heart. You start to notice how previous struggles have shaped you into a more resilient, compassionate person. This transformation is a testament to the power of faith in action. By casting your anxieties on God, you invite His healing into every corner of your life. You become a living testimony of His grace and mercy, inspiring others to trust in His care as well. When you walk in the light of God's promise, you see that no trial is too big for His love to overcome. His strength fills the gaps where your own power falls short, and His presence becomes the foundation of your peace. This isn't a one-time event, but a continual process of growth and renewal. With each moment you choose to trust Him instead of succumbing to fear, you step into a deeper level of spiritual maturity. Embrace this journey of transformation and allow God to work in you, making your inner strength shine brighter than any external circumstance could ever dim. In life, we all encounter moments when our strength seems to falter and our resolve weakens. Yet, the promise in 1 Peter 5 verse 7 reminds us that God's care is the ultimate source of resilience. When you cast your anxiety on Him, you are not only releasing your burdens, but also inviting His sustaining power into your life. This promise serves as a foundation for building resilience, a quality that enables you to bounce back from setbacks, face adversity with courage, and keep moving forward despite difficulties. Consider a time when you felt completely overwhelmed by a challenge, yet somehow found the inner strength to persevere. That strength didn't come from within. It came from trusting in God's promise to care for you. By consistently placing your trust in Him, you gradually develop a resilience that transforms your ability to cope with life's storms. Every act of surrender and every prayer of trust contributes to a deeper, more enduring faith. Over time, you'll notice that the anxieties that once seemed insurmountable become more manageable, and the obstacles in your path shrink in comparison to the might of God's support. This resilience is not about never falling, but about rising every time you fall. Knowing that God's hand is there to lift you up, embrace this truth and let it inspire you to face each day with renewed vigor. Your journey of resilience is a testament to God's faithfulness, and it encourages those around you to find their own strength in His promises. If this message has resonated with you and reminded you that you're not meant to carry life's burdens on your own, please take a moment to let others know by liking this video and sharing your thoughts in the comments below. Your story can be a beacon of hope for someone else who is struggling. And if you haven't already, subscribe so you never miss another uplifting message of God's unfailing care and strength. Together, Let's cast our anxieties on the Lord and walk confidently in His promise of love, knowing that with every step, He is there to guide, strengthen, and sustain us.